Welcome to the Movie Remix, the show about classic movies and their modern remakes. Hello, I'm Constance.
Hey, Constance, I am Sherry. And we are going to talk about the movies, their differences, the updates, um, and just, spitball on which one we like the best. In time for Halloween, we have taken on our first. Our first horror flick. And as I mentioned to Constance, I don't even like horror movies. It's not my thing. But this month we did Carrie. And if you are unaware, there are 3 versions of Carrie, which I did not know until we started watching the movies. The original was released in 1976, starring Sissy Spacek as our lead character. The next version was in 2002. We're going to do a full cast list in a moment, starring Angela Bettis. And then the third version was in 2013, starring Chloe Grace Moretz as Carrie. So all based on Stephen King's book. And we have already decided that we would not be good at this today if we did not include some discussions of the book in this discussion. So we will be bringing the book up a little bit. So, Constance, how was your week? And what are you drinking today?
Oh, the week was the week. The week was the week.
Mm-hmm.
And today's beverage of choice comes by our local, and by local I mean Maryland, winery, Port Antonio.
Oh, nice.
Hibiscus one. We actually traveled there.
Loved
it. So this is the drink for today.
I am drinking. Talk about a wine. Wait a minute. Talk about a wine name for today. This is a red blend called Crucible.
Ooh.
Crucible Wineries. I got it at Whole Foods.
They were.
Yes. One of my new favorite red blends. So
Crucible.
And
I'll expect that in the mail too. Okay. Thanks.
Yeah. With the other one that I got to send you that one too. Gotcha. So we only need to do one recap of this movie. So Carrie is an adaptation of Stephen King's horror novel written about a withdrawn and sensitive teen girl, Carrie White. She faces taunting from her classmates at school and abuse at home from her fanatical, pious mother. When strange occurrences start happening around Carrie, she begins to suspect that she has supernatural powers. Invited to the prom by empathetic Tommy Ross, Carrie tries to let her guard down, but things eventually take a dark and violent turn. And that is the film. If I read this correctly, the book was originally released in 1975. This was Stephen King's first book. Original movie came out a year later in 1976.
And amazing.
Yes.
Amazing.
Truly amazing film. Do you want to do the 76 cast list? Because
I sure can.
Because I have to say it, the 76 cast is phenomenal.
I will say when they chose the 76 cast, spot on. Yeah. Sissy Spacek played Carrie White. Piper Laurie was Margaret White, which was Carrie's mother. Amy Irving was Sue Snell. William Catt was Tommy Ross,
who later played Greatest American Hero. As soon as I saw him, that was my first thought.
Betty Buckley was Miss Collins. Nancy Allen was Chris Harriganson. Harriganson, whatever. Chris, the mean girl.
The mean girl.
And John Travolta as Billy Nolan.
Yes.
That's every time I see it, I'm just like, okay. But it works.
It worked. It did work. Well, in 1976, John Travolta was rather hot in 1976. I think this is that moment that the age difference between Constance and I is going to come out, because I remember in 1976 that John Travolta was a thing back then. In 2002, Carrie White was playing. In 2002, Carrie White was played by Angela Bettis. Patricia Clarkson played her mother, Marguerite White. Sue Snell was played by Candice McClure. Tobias Mueller played Tommy Ross. Jesse Codette played Billy Nolan. Emily DeRaven played Chris Hargan. And Rena Sofer played Miss Desjardins.
Desjardins.
Now, this, I'm going to stop, just pause before we do the 2013. This was in the original to the book, this is one of the changes. The teacher's name in the book is Desjardins.
Yes.
That is the correct name. So, okay.
For the 2013 cast, Carrie White was played by Chloe Grace Moretz. Julianne Moore was Margaret White. Judy Greer was Miss Desjardins. Portia Doubleday was Chris Harriganson. Alex Russell was Billy Nolan. Gabriella Wild was Sue Snell. And Ansel Elgort, prayerfully I'm saying that correctly, was Tommy Ross. And yet again, not a bad cast.
Not a bad cast. So now we get to do the fun part where we get to talk about all three movies. And do you know the best part this time, Constance, with every one of these? This is our third show, and this is the first time that we do not have to change anybody's name. We can just talk about the characters because right. Everybody is exactly the same. We can just switch tears.
The tears. Because it's never happened, right?
It has not happened yet. This is the first time.
I'm so proud of
really with this particular adaptation from the book to the movie to each of the remakes, they have kept the cast names every time. And I'm very excited about that. So, so as we mentioned, 1976, there's really no need for us to separate what happened in each movie because each movie is exactly the same.
I mean, in terms of, you know, Carrie is that naive,
sheltered,
very sheltered.
Yes.
Teenager. Mm-hmm. Although we'll say that it was really interesting how each of these movies opened up, though.
Okay.
In terms, like, because what in 1976, oh my gosh, refresh. They opened up with her in school, right?
Yeah, they're all in school. They all open up with her with a gym class of some sort.
So the one for 2002 that was made for television, they actually opened that up in the police department.
Right.
And then 2013, I think it was a little Carrie on the lawn with the neighbor. I want to say that's.
You're right.
Or is that? Yeah.
Right.
Because
and then the first one opened up with the gym class and her. Right. But they all end up in that shower. That's where I remember. That's where my mind picks it up, is in the shower.
Because that's, of course, you know, a very pivotal and important scene for all of them.
Yes.
That's when Carrie thinks, you know, after the gym class, whether it was volleyball, water polo.
Volleyball.
Yeah, it was like volleyball, baseball. So yeah, 96 was baseball. 2002 was volleyball, and I think 2013 was water volleyball.
Volleyball, yeah.
Yeah.
Don't ask us. This is what happened.
It just goes. But when she's taking a shower and she has her first period and she thinks she's dying.
And we're going to talk, and that is directly pulled from the book. That is a direct pull from the book. Everything that is said from that point, even through her going to the principal's office and the smashing of the ashtray, directly pulled from the book. It's just.
See, but that was one thing that I found that was actually kind of interesting too. Because when she went to the principal's office, like different things, you had the smashing of the ashtray, which I think was the 2002 version.
Yes.
Because in the first version, it's the desk that moves.
I remember seeing the desk in the 76 version. I remember seeing
I'm sorry,
the ashtray.
Yeah, that's what I meant. I'm sorry.
In the 76 version, it was the ashtray. By 2002 and 2013, you really couldn't smoke. The teachers couldn't smoke in school, so they probably just edited around that. So I think I kind of forgave that edit.
Right.
Because
other than the 2002 version, I want to say was it the 2013 version? Because she like loses it a little bit because the principal isn't getting her name right. Although I think it's in the 2013 version. Excuse me, because I'm looking up my notes because there was a lot of note taking for this.
There's notes everywhere for this.
The principal actually gets her name right on the second try.
Right, and in the first two, and even in the book, it still takes him like 4 times to get her name right.
And I think actually in the first version, he never did get it right because he kept calling her Cassie.
Yeah.
Even like, well, let's get her a leave slip so she can go home and whatever like that. But I think like, let's go back to the shower scene with the pier because that is an important aspect of what really drives this whole movie.
True.
The fact that literally the girl thought she was dying, and we all know because as women, we've been teenagers and we know
we've been there. We've been here.
Girls are cruel. We're probably the most cruel to each other. And I like the fact that they actually kept that chant, plug it up, through all 3 versions.
I agree.
Of this film. And then, because in 2002, and I like how they actually tackled the humiliation part, because in the original, it was, everybody was talking about Carrie and whispering about how, she thought she was dying and she just got her period or whatever like that. And then the throwing of the tampons.
What I liked about even in the 2013 update is that what would happen in 2013 is that they posted that somebody took the video and posted it online.
And posted it on YouTube.
While it was horrifying that somebody did that, but in theory, that's exactly what would happen. Is that somebody, even in 2020, somebody would have put it up on Snapchat or Twitter or somewhere. Somebody would have put it on social media to continue to bully her with
because and they kept bullying her. And then in the 2002, they even addressed it. They brought it into modern terms because they put it, plug it up. They wrote it on her locker.
And brought all
and then had all the tampons and everything coming out as she opened her locker. So I appreciated the fact that they definitely kept current with the times in regards to that scene. Although I think it's absolutely hilarious that in the 1976 version, for 1996, the teacher's name was Miss Collins.
Yeah.
But she actually in all 3 versions, they kept that little speech that she did the same. Yeah. You guys did a really shitty thing.
Yeah, where she's punishing the student. Yeah, but she's punishing the girls. Yes, I'm here for it when she's punishing the girls.
Did a really shitty thing. They actually kept that. I was like, oh, wait a minute. We cussed at students in 1976? But the fact that they kept it for all 3 was amazing. Yeah. Because, especially now, you're like, you cussed at my kid? The hell?
Well, they did. Well, in the 2013, when the father comes in with the daughter and says, hey, this is what your teacher did. You need to discipline your teacher. And this is like, and this is like all the things. I'm like, well, if she didn't do it and if she didn't post the video, show her your phone. I was like, yeah, show the phone. And like, that's when you knew the girl knew she was caught.
Right. Because, that's a teenager for you. They're going to post it and never delete the video off their phone.
Right.
But I also appreciated the fact that the principal stood behind the teacher.
Yeah.
As well. Like, he he had her back and didn't just like, you're right, she was wrong. You know,
Right.
and I feel like.
And then cave to the father. Right.
Correct.
Which in the original versions, now that scene where the father comes in to try to defend Chris only appears in the later 2 versions. It does not appear at all in the first version.
You're correct. Because they kind of just implied that something was said, but it was unsuccessful.
Yeah.
Because she screams, "It's not over!" Like, yeah, that whole scene when the teacher's punishing him is kind of verbatim for each one.
Right.
You know. And then.
Go ahead.
I like how when the teacher's punishing them over what they did to Carrie, you know, that even in that they're just like, everybody but Chris realizes, you know, yeah, that was a shitty thing. But Chris is like, no, Carrie was, you know, like, who, like, why doesn't Carrie know about this? You know, she's the one that freaked out. And then, but actually, I think it was the 2002 version, or was it the 20, or maybe it was the original version, where the teacher's like, you know, well, I kind of wanted to slap her too, because, you know, what the hell?
Yeah, everybody did, and wait a minute. On the one hand, we all on the one hand, we will understand where Carrie was mentally in that moment of her first period coming at school with everything that her mother has taught her and shown her.
Or not shown her.
But on the other hand, take yourself back to when you were 14. Did you have someone do this to you when your first one showed up? Thinking about saying it to Chris that way. But that's, you know, that's dissecting the story.
Well, I mean, but see, and I get it. Carrie, because when this happens to Carrie, she's what, 16?
She's 16, 17. Well, they're all graduating, so somewhere between 16 and 18.
16, 17.
Yeah.
Right. And yeah, it is unusual that you don't know about this, although the school knows that her mom's a Looney Tune. You know?
Well, one change I noticed in all 3 versions is that in one version, they say they've known her since first grade. Like Carrie's always been around and has always kind of been the girl in the corner and just weird. In another, I think in the 2013 version, they say she was homeschooled and the district forced her to send her to school. So Carrie's just all of a sudden shown up within the past couple of years.
Which actually kind of makes sense.
Yeah.
Because if she had been, I mean, at least in current times, if she had been in school the entire time, she would have learned a lot about, especially her period, through, even if she didn't interact with the students, she would have learned a lot just by listening.
Just osmosis, correct.
So it makes sense in the later version that she was homeschooled and then forced, because it adds to that sheltered life that she was living, or that she was forced to live by her religious fanatic of a mother.
That mother. That's all I gotta say.
But I like in the which version, Julianne Moore.
She's in the 2013.
So she was the cutter. She self-harmed. I like the fact that they expounded on her mental health problems a little bit in the 2013 version, because it's not just she was a religious fanatic. Like, she even tried, she was going to kill Carrie when Carrie was born. I
remember, yes. They really delved into that.
That's how they opened that one. That's how they opened that, because with Carrie being born, and her mom trying to kill her.
Right. And the thing is that one thing I noticed, one thing I've said in my notes, and it's written here, is that I think I said it, each version, every time this movie releases again, not the 1976, but when it released in 2002, and then again in 2013, and then when it releases again, we're going to spoil that for y'all. FX, according to Deadline, is doing another one. And they'll say it again, when they're releasing it again, they're trying to get closer to the book. They're really trying to get closer to the book. so much happens. They're trying
Yes.
to pull together to bring closer to the book. And if you merge all three of these films,
it really is the book.
It's the book, but you got to merge all three of them.
Like the meteor shower, because like I remember seeing that in I think in the 2002 version with the meteor shower. I was like, what the hell? And I totally forgot that's what actually happened
in the book. The meteor showers in the book. My favorite scene of all three of the movies is the true walking home scene in the 2002 version.
When everything is aflame.
I posted about it, and we've all had that day. I had that day at work recently where you've just thought, you know what, I'm gonna go in there and I'm gonna flip everything over and quit and walk out. That is what Carrie was doing on her way home. I've had it. All of this over. I've had it. And I'm like, why wasn't that scene in the other two movies? I was so mad that they did not do that scene.
Because you're just like, oh, well, you know where she went because there's a trail of destruction.
But and also her flipping everything over is in the book.
That scene was everything for me.
That scene, it meant so much to me. It meant so much. It felt good in my soul.
Although I will say, honestly, for me, the most satisfying part, because I remember in 1976 when after, we're really getting ahead of ourselves so much.
We're jumping around at different things because we really don't want to dissect the entire movie and all the changes because there are really not that many. But so now we're just going to talk about the things we liked about the three different films.
Right. But after, of course, the bath of the pig blood and everything.
I'm so mad at Chris and Billy for that, but that's another story for another day. Because I'm sorry, I'm going to say it. I know it's in the book. I know this is why it was written. But why was Chris mad at Carrie? Because she got suspended. They told you why you were suspended. You the one that messed up.
Honey, that's what people do. They project their anger on everybody else that's not to blame. Mm-hmm. She did it to herself. Mm-hmm. Right. So, I mean, we are where we are. It is what it is. But the most satisfying part of that, when that whole scene when Carrie finally loses it, is in the 2013 version when her in the car. And the first time Billy Nolan is killed, but Chris is still alive. She literally holds that car in the air, let Chris rev it all the way up. And I'm just like, oh, doesn't take a genius to figure out that that's not going to end well for stupid in the car. And she lets it go, crash into the gas pumps, and boom. And then she walks up. And Chris's face is in the windshield, bloodied and everything. And I was like, oh. And she's just like, I was like, rubber.
I felt that is the only Chris and Billy dying scene that I didn't like. I don't know why. I think because the first two, because in the first Carrie, she dispatched with them like, forget y'all, I'm done. Like we've had our moment and we're done. And she just dispatched the car rolls over and they're dead. And that was it. And I think I was okay with that. And I think that's what also happens in the second film. Something along that line. Like it just
like they try and she flips and but see, that's why I think I appreciate the third one, because it's like she's being honest with Chris and herself in that moment, letting her know, you make my life hell and you don't get to die easy. No, ma'am, you don't get to die easy. I want you to feel this from the depths of my soul to yours. No, you don't get to die easy, ma'am. And that for me, and I think, like I said, for me, I love that part because she didn't die easy. Sure. And then let's quickly address her crazy ass boyfriend, Billy Nolan.
Okay, actually, because I was thinking the same thing, because we do have to talk about the evolution of two characters through the three films. The evolution of Billy and the evolution of Sue. How they dig deeper into both of those people in the two different.
Yes.
Go ahead. You start with.
So Billy Nolan, let's dig a little deeper into him. He's special.
Let's go.
Because in the first version in 76, his character is kind of, I don't want to say two-dimensional, but he doesn't play he plays a major role, but he's more the sidekick to Chris.
Right.
Because Chris, she's the one that masterminds the whole plan of let's get the pig's blood or whatever, and she ropes him into it. 2002 version, she starts to mastermind this plan, but he takes over, and he is psychotic. Like, you just see the beginning. Like, if they were ever to do like a sequel based off of 2002, Billy Nolan becomes a if he didn't die, he was going to become a psycho and a serial killer. Like, that was his future, because he was crazy.
I agree.
Like Looney Tunes, like extra crazy.
Right.
But then in the 2013 version, he's no longer Chris's sidekick. Chris actually kind of follows him, because he's like, oh, well, you're mad at Carrie? Why? And she's like, this is what happened. He takes over, masterminding the plot, telling her what she's going to do in all terms of, in the plan. And although I do like the fact that in all three versions, he's the one that finally kills the pig. And I'm not gonna lie, every time they go after the pig, I'm just like, no, and close my ears. And close my ears at the same time, because I don't want to hear it. But the 2002 version, he relished that.
Yeah.
The killing of the pig, whatever.
Yeah, he was all about it.
Yes, like, whew. I wonder if if that actor actually has some nightmares over that at any time in his life. I'm just concerned for him. And then in the 2013 version, even though he's the one that masterminds the plot, I want to say that is the one version where Chris and Billy are actually more on an even playing field, where they're both, Looney Tunes together. Like, they have the same Looney Tune factor, because he gives the initial blow and kills the pig, but she's the one that actually slices the pig's throat to collect the blood. And she didn't do that in the 2002 version, and she didn't do it in
she wasn't even that. You're right. She wasn't even present in 76.
Yes, she was. She was present.
She was there? I thought just all the boys went. No, she was in the gym, but I don't think she went to the farm. I thought it was just all the boys that went to the farm.
I think she went to the farm. She just, because she was telling them to hurry up.
Okay.
If I remember that, she went, but when the first boy was the one that was supposed to kill the pig didn't, she was standing, like I said, she kind of was in the background of it, but she was there. So she was present in all three, but she didn't, in 76 or 2002, she didn't actually have anything to do with the slaughtering of the pig or the collecting of the blood. Whereas in 2013, they just matched the crazy, and she jumped right in and was like, prank.
Yeah.
So, but Billy Nolan's character is noteworthy because of the development, like, of his.
He was a deeper, right? He did deeper dive. The other thing, the other character that I saw got more evolved between the three versions was Sue Snell. Like, something about the 2013 version, you really saw the light go on in her head in that version, where she's like, you know what, I really did screw up that day. When I may have bullied Carrie in the past, but that day I was really wrong. And I shouldn't have bullied her that day. Like, and then you really saw her between that one, actually the 2002 and the 2013.
She starts to realize it's wrong, actually, in the shower scene.
Right.
But she's not as hardy of a participant as the rest of them. So she's getting, she has an idea there. Although I will say I like the attitude of the 2002 version, Because let's let it be known, that's the only time they used the black actress. Although, can I say this real quick? Her hair remains curly in all three versions. She always has curly.
Good point. That is true.
She always has that same really curly hair. But in the 2002 version, her, like, she has a really cocky attitude, whatever, where she's just like, I told you what I told you, and if you don't believe me, I don't know what else to tell you. Right. And even though I feel like she acknowledges what she did was wrong, she still kind of is like, meh. It happened, whatever. Although, can we discuss the ending in 2002?
Okay. Because the ending of 2002 is a complete diversion from the book.
Yes.
Period. Complete diversion from the book.
Now in 2002's defense, it was made for television, and they were going to make, I think, like a series.
They were going to try to make a series out of it. Yeah.
So Carrie had to live.
Right. Carrie had to live. And actually 2013 diverted from the book a little. I mean, there was a diversion of the book a little bit as well, because wherever Chris and Billy die is supposed to be somewhere else, like at the club where everybody was supposed to go to after the prom is where everybody was supposed to die. And that's the only time Sue showed up pregnant, was in the 2013, and she's supposed to be pregnant in all three versions.
Right.
At the end, but she's also supposed to miscarry.
And in the 2013,
Carrie tells her
that she's
pregnant, and she tells her pregnant, and it's just a girl.
And I think they allowed her to keep the baby in the 2013, if I remember.
Yeah, because Carrie is not as because Carrie is an abused girl, and at the end of the day, and I'm gonna say it, everybody got what they had coming to them. Because they left Crazy alone. That is your job. If you know Crazy is around, you're supposed to leave Crazy alone.
But that's the beauty of this movie.
Except for in the first version. Because I'm gonna make this one note about the first version that did not happen in the last two versions. I was very surprised in the first version when the teacher was killed, Miss Collins.
She wasn't, though.
Yes, she was. She was standing up against the wall, and something fell on her, and the teacher was killed in the first one.
You're right.
But the teacher survived in the last two.
Right. Because she was able to make it out of the air duct in the second one.
Right, and in the third one, Carrie lifted her off the floor and brought her to the stage. She's like, yeah, I'm about to kill the rest of these people, but you cool. So let me bring you over here.
Right. It's like, sorry, sucks to suck, but at least you're going to live.
Right. Sucks to suck.
Yeah. And then in the 2002 version, actually, Tommy, they even managed to get Tommy out as well.
No, Tommy dies.
I know he dies, but they get him out through the duct because they were carrying him.
Right.
And can you talk about that? How, like, literally, that is a sucky way to die.
And I want to say this, right? And that is the only person that Carrie did not kill. Carrie, that body is on Chris and Billy.
Yes. We have to do a body count.
We're gonna do the body count. That body is on Chris and Billy.
Absolutely, because the dropping of the bucket.
The bucket and it hit. Huh?
And I kind of get why they had to do it like that, because otherwise, if he didn't die that way or the mayhem, then Carrie would have been responsible for the death of the one person or one of the few people that was nice to her,
that was treating her well. Yeah,
there was no real way of getting him out of the gym,
right?
Before all the chaos,
correct,
went down. Like, so I understand why he had to go.
He had to go, but that sucked. So
Right.
let's end the open discussion with this. Who do you think was the best Carrie? Angela Bettis, Chloe Grace Moretz, or Sissy Spacek?
Okay. I am going to veer away from the popular and Angela Bettis in 2002, because to me she really did embody that very strange, awkward girl. Like, she wasn't necessarily pretty, like she's not ugly, but you got that she was not a beauty queen. Whereas in Sissy Spacek and then what's her name, Chloe, even though they were strange or whatever, they were still very pretty girls. And I'm like, and I get that, mean girls pick on those that they deem as a threat or whatever such, but I felt like I said, in 2002, she just really embodied that awkward, ugly girl that people just want to gang up on, because she just gives those vibes of, please gang up on me because I am nothing like you. I'll never be one of the, beautiful people. So she was my personal favorite. Plus that walk.
That walk was everything. I kind of, I'm going to go with the classic. I'm going to go with Sissy Spacek, because there's a note I have in here that in 2020, besides the abusive aspect of the relationship with her mother, and we're going to talk about our favorite mother in a moment, I also kind of think that on some level, the way that Sissy Spacek played Carrie, we would put her somewhere on the spectrum, the way that Sissy Spacek played her.
Yeah.
In 2020, like not to put a mental diagnosis. It's not my job, but just the way that Carrie was playing her in the original scenes. That's just kind of the note I had, is like they would be, if they could get her away from her mother, they would be trying to help her cope better with her her social skills. I'll say it that way. And I kind of
her mother. Woo!
Her mother. Good God. So since we're here now, who was your favorite mother? Julianne Moore, Patricia Clarkson, or Piper Laurie?
That's so hard for me, because they all did a really good job in how they played the mom. But I think I'm going to have to go with 76, because that religious fervor is, the dirty pillows.
Yes.
Let me help you burn the dress, Carrie. We can burn it together. Like,
exactly.
Just that fervor, that, like, you just really, for whatever reason, not for whatever reason, like, you just really don't like this woman. You're just like, you
really
psychopath.
That is true. I agree with Piper Laurie.
And like the other two versions, don't get me wrong, great job, but you can see the mental health issues with the Julianne Moore character, because she's a cutter, and you kind of are sympathetic because you realize that maybe somebody should have intervened with this one a little sooner before she had a child. And then the 2002 version with her crazy self, I don't want to say she's forgettable, but she's not as memorable as the 76 version.
And I think with the 76 version, I think what happened in that one is that even in that last scene, they really delved into part of what was going on with her when because she tells the story of when Carrie's conception and that night. Like, something about the mother was like, we were never going to have sex even though we were married, and that she was conceived of a drunken rape. And then the Piper Laurie's mother says, he took me and I liked it and it was a sin. And that was just how she felt about it for the rest of her life. And she's like, and I should have killed you when you were born because you were born of sin. And I thought you were cancer because I had no idea. And I'm just like, wow, what did your mother do to you that this was how your mind worked? Like, what happened here?
and see, that's another reason why I like Harry. It's like, because it's like, where's, it makes you think, like, what happened to the dad?
Mm-hmm.
Why, like, that she's Looney Tunes, and you and you left. I guess, well, no, because at least I'm going to assume that she was born after the father left, right?
Yeah, I think she says it in the first, at one of the films. She says that we all know that dad ran off with another woman.
Or so that's what we think. Because you don't know how true it is because of Looney Tunes moms.
True.
Might have just rolled out because he realized how psycho she is.
True. So let's discuss the reception of the films. Do you want to start with the 1976 version?
So the 1976 version, Carrie was released November 3rd, 1976 by United Artists. The film became a critical and commercial success, grossing over $33.8 million against its $1.8 million budget. It received 2 nominations at the 49th Academy Awards, Best Actress for Sissy Spacek and Best Supporting Actress for Laurie. Mm-hmm. It is widely cited by critics and audience members alike as the best adaptation of the novel amongst the numerous films and television shows based on the character, as well as one of the best films based on King's books. The film has had a significant influence on pop culture. Several publications have regarded it as one of the greatest horror films ever made. In 2008, Carrie was ranked 86 on Empire's list of the 500 greatest movies of all times. In 2008, Carrie was ranked 86 on Empire's list of the 500 greatest movies of all times. It was ranked 15th on Entertainment Weekly's list of the 50 best high school movies, and 46 on the American Film Institute list, AFI's 100 Years, 100 Thrills. The film's prom scene has had a major influence on pop culture. It was ranked 8th on Bravo's 2004 program, The 100 Scariest Movie Moments. That is the 76 version.
That prom scene.
Everything! Like, it is, I'm sorry. It is
number
like
one
thing.
Don't mess with crazy.
Yes. Like, that is the ultimate, I'm sorry. Mm-hmm. That is the scene that every kid who's ever had to deal with the bullies in high school and, feeling less than best. That is that scene that makes you say, yes, if I had that power, that's what I would do. Mm-hmm. Fire, brimstone, electrocution, yes.
She wore them all out. The 2002 Carrie. The film premiered on NBC on November 4th, 2002, when it was viewed by 12.21 million people. Despite the good ratings and the 2 award nominations, a Saturn Award and an ASC Award, the film was poorly received by film critics. The performances, especially Bettis's, were praised, but the film was criticized for its poor special effects, lack of horror atmosphere, and the long runtime.
It's a Stephen King movie. Come on.
Right. And I think I'll talk about that in a minute. Go ahead.
2013, the film held its world premiere at the ArcLight Hollywood in LA on October 7th, 2013, and was released in the United States by Metro-Goldwyn-Mayer and Screen Gems on October 18, 2013. The film received mixed reviews, with critics calling it unnecessary, criticizing the lack of originality and scares, though they praised the modern updates and cast. The film grossed $85 million worldwide at the box office.
Okay. So that is one difference, because I did write this down. The original Carrie runtime was 1 hour and 37 minutes. The television movie runtime was about 2 hours and 15 minutes. When I looked at it, I was like, wow, this is really long. And the third movie, we're back into the hour and a half, 90-minute range.
Well, I mean,
I'm wondering if the 2002 Carrie ran across 2 nights. I wonder if it was more like of a mini-series thing and it didn't run in one night.
Not sure.
Yeah, not too sure. We watched it on Netflix. It is available currently in 2020, and it is available currently on Netflix.
But to me,
mm-hmm.
I mean, they say poor special effects. But it is 2002. Mm-hmm. You're doing this for television,
right?
Even with the, I guess, less than stellar effects, to me it was still a good watch, and I'm not mad at watching it. I can't remember what I was doing with Life of 2002 that I didn't see this on TV, because I most certainly probably should have, because this is like right up my alley. It's Stephen King, for God's sakes.
And as I think I said at the beginning, and if I didn't, I will say it now. I'm not a horror fan. I have not watched. I thought I had seen the original Carrie at some point in my life. Apparently, I'd never seen it from beginning to end, or I've never seen it at all. I really liked this movie. I'm not mad at any of the 3 versions.
I think. And when they say that 2013 was unnecessary, I think or it lacked originality and scares, I think that's a little unfair, because you're trying to stay close to the book.
Right.
So if you read the book, if you've seen the other 2, yeah, what's coming. There's some updates, of course, because of the social media aspect and things as such. Right. Yeah, what's coming, but it's Carrie. If they did not do it that way, you would be mad that they didn't stick
right
to the plot. So I don't think that's fair.
In another article for Pop Culture Uncovered, when you're adapting from a book, you want to make sure that you pick the actors that look like the characters, and you want to try to stay as true to the book and to the source material as possible, because you have a built-in audience already of the people who read and enjoyed the book. So and
the minute that you detour from that, people get upset. Right. I mean, I do. I'm like, what the hell is that? That's not what happened in the book. And I'm the first person. Yes, I'm that person. I'll go to a movie theater, because I did it with Troy. I did it. I'm like, that's not how it worked. That's not what Greek mythology said. That's not what happened.
There is a whole movie out there with an actor and a movie and a book who shall not be named right now, who I have not seen, because I love the books so much. And when they cast the actor to play him, I was pissed. I have not seen it, and I refuse to watch it because they picked the wrong actor. I was pissed.
And I get you, because with the vampire series, not Twilight, but like the Vampire Lestat.
Yeah. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. And I say to myself, because I loved those books. Those are who wrote that? Anne Rice. Love those books. I was like, I don't know who that Marius person is on the screen, because that's not the Marius in the book. Marius in the book is Nordic. He's got this blonde hair, strong nose, big, you almost think Viking. And I'm like, who's this little wimpy guy on the screen? Oh, that's not Marius. Like, what is that? It was so bad. And then, don't get me wrong, the Queen of the Damned.
Yeah.
I liked Aaliyah, but I'm like, come on.
All right. Let's have our fun part of the day. It is time to recast. And we're going to make this note. I kind of snuck this in earlier. If you missed it, they are getting ready to do a 4th version of Carrie for television on FX. According to Deadline in 2019, they are currently working on a 4th Carrie. But for us, this is our dream cast. So go ahead, Constance, who do you have playing Carrie?
So I'm going to say this. This was particularly hard because it's hard to find younger actresses that make the cut. So if you wanted a more predictable Carrie, I went with Margot Robbie. But I think personally, Letitia Wright or Kiersey Clemens would make a good Carrie. Carrie's mother, if it's Letitia Wright, Octavia Spencer, because I feel like I can't remember the name of the film off the top, but she has a particular brand of crazy that I'm really interested in seeing more of.
She just did Ma, that movie.
Yes.
I haven't seen it yet, but again, I mentioned I'm not a horror fan. But
she has a particular brand of crazy. So my Sue was Amanda Stenberg. I'm not sure if I pronounced it. And then I thought of you for Tommy, Sherry. I chose Justin Min, the show that you got 5 from. Umbrella. Justin Min. He's the brother that died.
Oh, the ghost. Oh, I like that one.
Yes, and I'm like, you know what? He has that good Tommy quality. You know, he's not too goody to make you just like.
Right. You know? I like this.
But he's good enough, and he's got boyishly good looks.
That's true.
And I think he'll still, he would be young enough to still carry this off.
I like
For Chris. I chose Natalie Dormer, and she's the one from. If you ever seen The Tudors, she was Anne Boleyn.
Okay, I like this.
She has a good attitude. Like she really does do Mean Girl well. Or I would be interested to see Zendaya as Chris.
Because that would be a flip for her to do Mean Girl.
Yes, because you always see her as goody, but she has a face that can pull, that pretty Mean Girl aspect. Like you can just see her being snarky.
I agree.
And then for Billy, Dane DeHaan.
I know Dane DeHaan. I know him.
See?
I know him.
And then for the teacher, I know it seems weird, but I feel like, you know what? They have good teacher motherly skills, like that mother/teacher skills. Either Salma Hayek or Kerry Washington.
Okay, I could work with that. That's
my recast.
Okay, so for my recast, I kind of went all over the place. And I also had the same issues that Constance mentioned a minute ago, where I was having some issues trying to find some characters, and I was pulling some people in that, not everybody, might not know or might not mention, but we're still going to try this. So we're going to have some fun. So for my Carrie White, I have pulled Lyric Ross, who everyone would know as Deja from This Is Us.
Okay.
Yes. For Margaret White, the mother, I made 2 choices. My first choice is Robin Givens, actress from the late 80s, early 90s. I think she would be fabulous. And plus, because we haven't seen her in a while, I think this would be amazing for her. And I also pulled in Tasha White, who would we know mostly from Why Did I Get Married? She usually plays loudmouth and...
Oh, Tasha Smith.
Tasha Smith, I apologize. Yes, Tasha Smith. She usually plays loudmouth and crazy, so I think that would be fun.
I'm trying to, it's a possibility.
But it would also be a flip for her. I think that's why.
Because she has to do crazy on a more demure side.
Yeah.
Or a more controlled crazy.
Right. And when we talked about this role, because I brought this to the PCU team because I was really having some issues trying to figure out some of my roles. And they brought me Gabrielle Union. They brought me a couple of other actresses who are well known and well named and who are great actresses. That was not our question, but we also came back to, we're thinking Black actresses, and there seems like there's only like 6 that everybody wants to hire. So Hollywood, if you're listening to us, remember Robin Givens, Tasha Smith, there are other people out here. Candy Alexander is out here. So we're just saying. For Sue Snell, I picked Yara Shahidi. She is currently on Blackish.
Okay.
For Tommy Ross, I have picked Trevor Jackson. He is currently playing Kevin Blake on Grownish.
Okay.
For Billy Nolan, I have picked Dylan Minette. He is currently on 13 Reasons Why. And honestly, I picked him because I looked at his face and I said, he looks like Billy Nolan.
Yep, you can see the crazy.
I can see the crazy. For Chris Hargensen, I picked Sophie Turner from Game of Thrones. And for yes,
she was a choice. She was a choice too.
She's a definite choice. And for the teacher, Miss Desjardins, I decided that this would be a fun choice. Do a throwback and get Amy Irving, who played Snoo Snell in the original, to play the teacher in the remake. She'd be older, but it would still be fun.
It would, right. And funny that you say that, because they did do like Carrie 2, like a sequel, or it was kind of like The
Rage of Carrie or something like that.
Right. Where it was like, trying to remember if it was the teacher or if it was Sue Snell. They used one of the characters as a guidance counselor at a different school to tackle a similar situation where that Carrie was like, wasn't, I think it was like her telepathic abilities or whatever, actually, like her honor somebody had it. But they took a character from the original Carrie to play like guidance counselor. I just remember that typical. She's like, I've seen this before. This happened in my high school. So I think it was the Sue Snell character. They did that.
So I just thought,
funny you should mention.
It was just, I've never seen the Carrie Rage movie, so I don't know. All right, so our classic wine score thing, our wine score rating. 1 glass of wine means that we got through the movie easily. 5 glasses of wine mean it took us a while and we really struggled to get through it. So for Carrie, 1970, actually, I'm going to say it. I think for the entire thing.
One.
I watched them all in the same afternoon, 1 glass of wine. I just watched them.
Because you get, and even though you know what's going to happen, you know the setup, it literally was still that engaging.
Yeah.
And I enjoyed it. I was just like, oh, yes.
Each time you can just enjoy the movies. And that's just it. You just enjoy them.
Yes.
Each version. So, which makes our next question the hardest one. Which version did you prefer?
Oh my God. That is so hard. Like,
it is, because as I said earlier,
I enjoyed each one for different reasons.
Exactly. It's different. Exactly. I like that they stayed true to the book, and I like that they stayed true to each other. I really loved that. Like, even down to the point that dress was pink. They may have changed the shade of pink, but that dress was always pink.
Although in the book it's supposed to be red. Although they did in what is it? I think in the 2013 version, when they looked at Sue Snell's dress, when she was looking at her dress was red, and I think that was probably, just a homage to the book. But ironically, the dress is supposed to be red, but it's always pink. Which of course makes the blood spatter look that much, like you can see the blood spatter.
Oh yeah, it's a thing. It's a thing.
Well, I have to have the pink dress.
Well, let's hold off on making our decisions on which one we preferred, because I want to bring in this article I just found, which I will link below, because they gave a rating on which version was the most faithful adaptation to the book. They said the 76 is the worst adaptation. The 2002 is second worst, and then the 2013 would be the best adaptation of the book. Agree, disagree? Where would you fall in line with this?
See, I'm going to say I disagree.
Mm-hmm. I agree. I disagree with that as well, because I'd have to say, except for the very ending of the 2002, I think the 2002 I think the 2002 is actually the best adaptation of the book.
Right.
Except for the last 5 minutes.
Oh, that's because they were adapting it for a series.
For a television series.
And then for me, I want to say probably the 2002 to me would be the best. Then I think 2013. Then I think 76.
I would agree with that.
But with that being said, they all like if you combine all three, if you take that's the book.
Yeah, that's it. You need all three of them and you get the book. Like if you spend 6 hours, 7 hours one day, watch all three, you've got the book. But we have to pick one. These are the rules of our show. I'm gonna go out.
Okay.
Go ahead. I'm going to say it just because truly one of my favorite scenes right now is the walking home scene. I'm going to say the 2002 television adaptation.
That's fine. For me, it's going to be the 2013 because I love that scene where Carrie and Chris have their final face-off. Because in that moment, it's like, you don't get to die easy, heifer. You don't get to die easy. Not today. I want you to know that I want you to feel this pain. I don't want it to be easy for you. And that for me, like I said, for me, it was the most satisfying death scene for Chris out of the whole movie. Because it's like, I wanted her to get her so bad. So bad.
It's different things for each one, but our rules, we have to pick one. So I'm actually probably going to go with the 2002. I really did not hate it. I really love the 76. I really love the 2002. The 2013, it's just not as much as the first two. But that's how I feel.
And it's like, I love the 2013 because I appreciate that how they overcame like the time changes with the social media aspect. I said,
appreciate
the scene for Chris, her death scene was everything. I liked the fact that in the 2013, both not Tommy, but Chris and Billy, their crazy was equally matched. It wasn't one was overly more psycho than the other. They were evenly matched in their crazy. I appreciated that. And ironically, my biggest issue with the 2013 version is I just think Carrie's too pretty in this film. I think I'm like, she's got that wide-eyed pretty girl that, I'll be able to sprout into a beautiful swan once I grow up.
As soon as you take off my glasses. Yep.
Right. But with that exception, I think, like I said, I like the issue with Julianne Moore, the fact that they expose her as a cutter.
Yeah.
They actually show the birthing scene where she almost kills Carrie. And even the scene at the end when Carrie and Sue have that conversation and then Carrie casts her from the house and then has the house implode on herself and her mom. Can completely appreciate that. And then the fact that they still maintain that whole, although let's talk about that real quick, just because it was, and because they didn't do it obviously in the 2002 version, but in the 76 and the 2013 version, which I appreciate, in the end, especially in the 76, the mother's death scene where
Yes.
she's literally, they turned her into a
Crucified.
religious icon.
She is
You know,
crucified every time.
and in the 76 version, the last thing you really remember is that Christ statue and the glowing eyes as the house is swallowed up by the earth. And I can appreciate that they still kept the mom's death in that iconic fashion.
That is true. That is true.
That's why I kind of went on the side of the 2013 for me.
I think we went a little long today, but it was 3 films and there was just still a lot to go through. But
thank you for sticking with us.
Thank you for sticking with us. Tell us, what do you think? If you saw all 3, if you saw 2, which ones did you prefer? Who do you think should be cast in the remake coming to FX? Because we would like to hear your opinions. If there's any films that you think we should watch, go ahead and drop them in the comments. We will be back in November with a nice family-friendly film, Father of the Bride. Father of the Bride. Originally released in 1950 and the remake in 1990. So we will see you all back here soon. Bye.
Bye.
Au revoir.